That's Hannah.
That is Dream's kissing cousin.
Bad as you know what.
Whose baby is it?
Oh,
Really?
she bad. She real bad.
I'm surprised she ain't got kicked out the house yet.
If she don't quit pissing and
She's eating cake. What type of cake did you? Oh, it's her birthday. It's her birthday.
You're gonna have to wait. We'll have to see about pulling back this one camera. Here you go.
Right.
All right, we're getting ready to go live here. We're live. All right.
hello and welcome to Cognitions, Speaking the Unspeakable with JP.
And there's no Stacy D in the picture.
We are also joined by Miss V. I am coming at you all remotely because I am out of town. Please excuse my background. I am in my teenage niece's bedroom. As you can see, the decor. That's
What is it, the
teenage
power?
decor.
Is that the power something or what is that?
I don't know what that is. I know it's greenery hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what they
she's-
do. Greenery
she's
and
trying to
lights.
get a little-
Christmas
She's
lights.
trying to get a little jungle theme going.
Okay.
All right, we are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding,
And wisdom.
and Wisdom. You can also catch us on FM 100.5 KOJH, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and TuneIn. And please remember to like and share. D?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still not here.
Okay. The number to call into the show is 816-599-6893.
And please
Do you have
remember
any
to
questions?
like. I'm here.
Oh,
To
there's the D.
like, share, and follow.
D, what you do to Miss V? What?
It's
Why
okay.
Miss V?
It's all about
What's-
me anyway. Y'all know how I am.
Clearly, because Miss V was perfectly presented. The D shows up, and now we got something going on with Miss V. But I'm going to move forward while Mr. Walker figures it out. Our question of the day today is: how might I take a whole new approach to finding relationship success? This is a part of our Valentine's
Oh, wow,
Day,
that's really
Valentine's,
good.
our month of love. The D wanted to do the whole month is dedicated to love.
How they do that?
Yes, the whole month is dedicated to love. So that's gonna be our topic for today. But before we get to that, let's do our check-in. D, what's your check-in for today?
Oh, I have ghosted my friend. What
I thought you was gonna say you got a ghost in your house. I was gonna say, oh, I'm coming
No,
over.
don't believe in that. Never a ghost. It'll be a spirit, and I will pray it up out
Same
of there.
difference.
Got some blessing oil and everything up in there.
Okay.
I
thought
ghosted
ghosts
my
and
friend.
spirits were the same. I thought ghosts and spirits were the same thing. They're the same thing, D.
No, not
It's
to
somebody who ain't passed on and they need a little assistance.
me. We're gonna agree to disagree on some things, okay?
What is the difference between a ghost and a spirit?
We're gonna agree to agree on some things. Agree to disagree on some things.
Okay.
can go look
Ooh,
up
I can
ghosts
see
and
both of
spirits.
y'all and the green screen, but I can see both of y'all.
We up in here now. I had to ghost my friend. After talking to him, He's
Wait
just
a
not
minute.
what I want.
But y'all haven't even went out on the second date yet.
Yeah, we did.
Really?
Hmm.
Where was your phone?
In my pocket. No, actually in my purse.
See,
And going
On
off and
silent.
see,
What happened this time, D?
After talking with him, he just know what I want.
mm.
And then I read something that says the worst woman to date and you're not ready for is a woman who's been by herself for a long time. Because she's used to being by herself and don't have to take nothing. I was like, wow, is that me?
Okay,
That's true.
Yeah,
I
he
can
just,
agree with that, but
and then he had
Me,
his bottom teeth was a little crooked, so I didn't want.
oh Lord, they was probably crooked when we were in high school. You didn't care then.
I didn't talk to him either.
It's the same teeth. Well,
But
it
we
must
still
be the
gonna
same
be.
teeth.
Once I finish ghosting him, I'm gonna reach back out to him, and be like, "Hey, friend,"
Yes.
because I have to deal with him in our class meetings and stuff.
Mm.
Or he might not. I want him to still participate in our class meetings. So I'm be like, "Hey, what you doing, friend?"
Cause she cares.
No, she don't. She's trying to have decent meetings, which is good. She's trying to be politically correct. Like, can we not have drama at the class reunion meetings? That's a good idea, D. You are being vague about what
happened?
exactly
Right.
happened, though. So clearly, we're gonna have to ask off the air, because there's more to this story than
No. I'm telling you, it really wasn't. You know how you just sit there and was having conversation, and then you start talking about tennis shoes and
Mm.
all of that, and
Oh, is he a? Oh, there's a term for it. Because I have
yeah, he's a
several-
sneakerhead. And
That's it.
Yeah, he's a sneaker. Look at the research. Go ahead, Mr. Walker. He's a
Oh,
sneaker.
Mr. Walker gave you the term.
Yes. And I was just like, oh, and he was just going on and on and on.
Oh, the
and on
sneakerheads are
and
serious. But here's what's interesting. I've never had any male sneakerheads in therapy. They have consistently been females, African American females, and one we had to actually include it in her treatment plan. She was spending. She had dozens of $200-$300 pairs of tennis shoes. I'm like,
They get to
they're
be
tennis
costly.
shoes.
Yeah. And,
What-
and
whatever
I'm the
happened
same
to
one.
women
I don't
putting
have
some
very many.
pumps on?
Huh?
Whatever happened to pumps and red bottoms and whatever happened?
Exactly. That's what I do. But he was just
Right.
going on and on and on and on and on. It was just really a turn off. And his bottom teeth were really, really crooked.
Let me tell D, you already knew his teeth was
Invisalign.
crooked. D, you already knew his teeth was crooked when you blew that first date.
No, I guess I didn't really look after I called him a slave. I don't know. But I didn't notice it.
Maybe y'all weren't
But
talking
then when
as
we were
much.
like we were in a real close and intimate setting.
Talking.
Yeah. And we were just he had his arm on me, and you know you have your arm over because we was on a couch, and I'm looking at him. Like, ooh, look at your teeth.
Oh.
You make good money. Go get you some Invisalign.
I'm glad you didn't say that.
You did you?
No, I didn't. See, y'all told me.
Mr. Walker's laughing.
Y'all told me something.
He's developing a filter.
I kept that to myself. Yeah. No, but
You know
then
what?
guess what he said? He was like, "Why are you looking at me like that?"
Oh.
So I guess my
'cause he
face.
felt it.
I must be like,
You should have been like, I'm trying to figure out why we're talking about
Sneakers and stuff.
why we're
I mean,
talking
he
about
was really on him like, "Oh, and I found this one, and this was $500, and I found it for $230 something." Like, oh, okay.
Mm.
it's like an addiction. Did he have on
Yes.
sneakers during the date?
Yes, but
I never
but it was
wore
hot
the
looking. though.
damn tennis shoes on
It
the
was
date.
hot.
But she said it looked good.
But it was hot the way he did it. He had some dumps on with his blazer, his t-shirt, his like little skinny, cause can't be too skinny, cause he a big boy. with his little skinny slacks on. He looked it really nice. Hey,
Right.
he smelled good. It was all that. It was just.
He had on snacks. He had on slacks, a blazer, and tennis shoes.
And a t-shirt. Yeah.
That's what they do.
Now they do that on TV and stuff too. I've
Yeah.
seen the
He
people,
looked.
so,
It looked it really
you know.
really nice. I'm not gonna take nothing from him on the way the outer look. Smell good. Hey, a total package. Like I say, 6'6", 5'6", 5'6".
Sound like y'all need to go on a third date.
As soon as he gets some Invisaligns. But he said, why are you looking at me like that? You look at me like you in disgust.
Oh.
I was like,
Oh. Whoa.
That's not good, D.
no, it really wasn't. And I did apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm just thinking about something at work. He's like, there you go to work. I'm like, I'm sorry. Come on. Tell me what else.
That was good. That was a good.
That was good, but
Yeah, that was good.
here's the thing. I bet he has probably spent way more on sneakers than
Then
what
Invisaligns.
Invisalign would be, which means his value system. Yeah, you and him have two different value systems. He values sneakers, and you value straight teeth, and that whole aesthetic appearance. Because if he's buying a bunch of these expensive sneakers, he can afford good teeth.
Exactly.
So, so it's a wrap. It's a wrap on that D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until he gets the Invisalign.
To get the Invisaligns.
Can you see? I can see she's still like.
I mean, he's cool. He's
Right,
cool. It was just
right.
like,
She's
His
not
breath
really
didn't stink,
feeling
though.
him, Miss B. His breath didn't stink.
No, his
Well, the
breath
teeth
didn't
ain't
stink.
rotten.
See, she said no. His breath was fine.
The teeth
He
ain't
said he smelled
rotten,
good.
But
Oh, he smelled really good.
Miss B, she's not really feeling him. Like, you're not really feeling him, D. Keep it moving.
Yeah, keep it moving. Next.
Right.
It's still February.
Miss B, what's your check-in?
So my check-in is my students told me today. I asked them about how we can help adults to kind of listen a little bit more, as we talked about why maybe they or others do violence, and they said, if y'all would just listen to us sometimes, because we want a voice. They said sometimes kids act out because they don't have a voice. It ain't because of the money. It ain't because of it's just. And being bad sometimes and acting out gives them a voice. And I said, really? So that check-in, we talked about it a whole lot more, but it was interesting for me to hear the way they were telling me about it. I was like, we're going to come back to this, you guys. We're going to come back and talk to these young people about their voice.
I can agree with that to an extent. I can agree with that to a certain extent. And here's why I say that. Yes, kids do act out for attention, okay? And when you look at the developmental stages, younger kids, preteens, pre-adolescents will act out for attention. And then when kids become adolescents, teenagers, they kind of revert back to that behavior. And so they exhibit it during both of those stages. And so, yes, adolescents acting out for attention is going to be more extreme than what, your 5, 6, 7-year-old would be doing. I don't think that is an excuse for such horrendous acts of violence.
I agree with you.
Shooting and killing people in these streets. No, you're not doing that for attention. You're doing that because you're a heathen.
Right.
And so what I would do is, in having those discussions with the kids, ask them, well, give us some of the specifics of the level, because this is something that parents need to know. Give us the specifics of the levels of acting out that you all attribute to wanting to have a voice, wanting to be heard. Because when you have a kid who is acting out in the classroom, absolutely, is the possibility that that child is acting out because they're frustrated. They,
Have problems
they are,
reading. They stutters
yes,
in
that,
class and don't want to read. And maybe you need to get
yes,
IEP and put them on some speech therapy.
yes.
I'm
The
sorry, I'm
D
dealing
just
with that right
listed.
now.
Well, this is good, D, because you just identified the internal factors that play a role in kids acting out. Some of the external factors that play a role in kids acting out is um, if you have a minority child who is in a predominantly white classroom and there's racial tension,
Yes.
if lessons are being presented from a culturally biased perspective, if there are problems in the area of implementation science, which deals with how instruction is actually presented in the classroom setting. Okay, because the schools come up with, okay, this is how we're going to present it, but each classroom setting can require some necessary adjustments. And when those adjustments are not made, that's considered to be a problem in the area of implementation science. All of those are external factors that can cause kids to act out. And so the D did a good job. Kids who are behind in reading, who struggle to read, they practically illiterate, and the teacher looks at, she's going around the
And
room
they're in
and
high school.
she's calling out names, saying, it's your turn to read. Yes, that kid is going to act out to avoid the embarrassment of reading out loud in a classroom. And so those are internal factors. You have external factors like racism and incompetence on the parts of the teachers, and also violence in the schools. Just, it is difficult for kids.
To
Kids are
concentrate.
going to school in a time where at any point somebody could start shooting up the school. They don't live in a safe, secure world. And so kids who don't have the coping skills for that will exhibit higher levels of anxiety, which can result in them acting out behaviorally, because kids filter difficult emotions through their behavior. And so all of that is something to take a look at. See, and all of these are things that can impact how a kid learns, which crosses over into what you are studying in school, Ms. V, getting your doctorate in, educational psychology, which is the psychology of how we learn in whatever setting, whether it's a school setting, a work setting, how we learn and what plays a part in that, what plays a role in that, what influences that. Okay. And so theories that fall up under educational psychology take a look at those things. And so what your kids were saying, I could agree with them if they are talking about all these things that I'm presenting right now. But when we're talking about shooting up people on the streets, no, we're not. No, we're not. They're not getting a pass on that.
Right. No, I agree.
That's because you were damn heated.
Yes. It's interesting that as they talk about, the kids wanting attention and power, they had some really interesting thoughts, because that's how they're processing it. So that's why I told them to come back and talk about it, and maybe we'll have
What
y'all
were some of the things
to
that
come.
they said? Because now I'm interested. What were some of the things that they said?
So the main thing they talked about, of course, is that parents don't listen, and they talked about, not having like money or being bullied. And they said the other piece is that everybody has guns now. Because we end up kind of talking about why does everyone have guns, like, the gun lobbies. So they didn't understand all of those dynamics. I said, it's not just that guns are out here. So there's a reason that no one will take them away. They said, well, it don't matter now because everyone has one, so you got to have one too to protect yourself. I said, so they said, so we have to, they said, you all have to understand this is how we live now. It was really interesting, and these are seniors in high school, but
Wow.
they said it's a different world. And
Well, and a lot of adults feel that way, and there are teachers who feel that way. There are teachers who feel like I have a right to be packing heat coming into this classroom because the kids are coming up in here packing heat. I need to be packing heat. There are still schools that do not have metal detectors in
Right.
place.
I wouldn't be
I
in it.
have,
I wouldn't.
but yeah, I don't blame you. But no, I have clients who are educators who their schools don't have metal detectors.
Some of the elementaries even have them now.
Yeah,
At least in my school
but
district, I say that.
This is well, some of these schools in Kansas City still do not have them. I'm not talking about some rural area. I'm talking about I know educators in the inner city who the schools do not have metal
Oh, that's
detectors
terrible.
in
I
place.
couldn't be there.
And their lives are in danger every day.
Every day.
And so, of course, we can't fault our young people for having the mentality that okay, well, if they got guns, we need guns to protect ourselves. A lot of parents feel that way, and there are some educators who feel that way. I'm not saying there's a lot of educators who feel that way, but generally people are like, I have a right to protect myself.
Right.
And if everybody else is packing heat, where's my heat? Okay. Anything
Oh, wait
else
a
on your
minute.
check-in?
So wait a minute. I have a little big thing to put in here. Because, I've been doing the
Okay.
whole Black History stuff. And I forgot to do
Alright.
my one for last week. Okay. So, do you know that all treasurers, U.S. treasurers, are women? On your money. Did you know that?
Really?
And
Like,
Jimmy Carter was the only president because they're elected. Jimmy Carter was the only president that elected a black woman treasurer. So we got to find the money that was back then. And I can't think. Hold on a minute. Let me think of her name. I wrote it. You guys, I'll be writing so much stuff down. I can't remember.
okay,
everything.
where's the researcher? Where's the researcher? Miss V, did you bring a researcher to the
Okay,
station today?
so check this out. And then just think about it, you guys. That when Jimmy Carter was in presidency, we were doing good. Because our black woman was handling the money.
Black
Period.
was handling the money.
A black woman was handling the money, period.
I find it hard to believe that Bill Clinton did not have a black female in that position. Did you look at Bill Clinton's?
I looked. That's how I know. It's my job to bring out a little black history tiblet. So I just bring out my little tiblets, and that was it. I mean, I had to do it at school, so that I remember and bring it here too.
That was pretty good. Okay.
That was good.
Well, this is interesting that all of them have been women.
All treasurers have always been women.
Wow. Okay.
Her name is A.Z. Taylor Morton. And
All
she
right.
remains the only African American to hold that office.
Wow.
From
All right.
1977 to 1981, and we were doing good with Jimmy Carter, right?
Yes.
Jimmy Carter. Bill Clinton
Because
didn't
her
have
sister
one.
was handling the money.
Because the sister was handling the money. And then what happened next? So what happened at that? It was Reagan. After that, Reaganomics.
That's so exciting.
You know Reagan wasn't gonna put a sister in charge of the money.
No, heck not. The only one
All right.
after all these years, I'm just so happy it was in 1977.
Absolutely.
Woo. Okay.
Wow. Okay, so here's what I want to do for mental health and illness in the news. I want to stay in alignment with the with Valentine's Day, the month of love, and then hopefully we'll have some time to discuss another mental health and illness in the news story. Ms. V, if you want to give an update on
About the Valentine Kansas City massacre.
the mass shooting.
Oh, the mass shooting. I know.
The mass shooting that took place
On Valentine's
at
Day.
So you want to do that later? If we're talking about love now, or I can do.
No, I'm gonna
No,
do
we're
a
gonna do that
no.
now.
I'm
Then we're
going
gonna
to.
do-
Okay.
I'm gonna do a little love,
Gotcha,
mental
okay.
health, and illness in the news.
Got it.
Because I want to ask you all,
That's
as
right, that's
you
right.
know, as women, I want to get your feedback on this. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So a CBS affiliate in Sacramento reported that a manager in training at a McDonald's complained to her husband that employees were disrespecting her. According to the police report, her husband came to his wife's workplace, and there, this 57-year-old by the name of Dwayne Waden, a High Point, North Carolina pastor, we're talking about a preacher, he
That's
preaches
right.
the gospel,
Honor that wife.
allegedly pushed a cook's head towards the deep fryer and punched him in the face.
Okay.
This is all according to the
ahead,
police
Pastor.
report on the incident.
Oh, was he a
He's
bishop? Wait.
He going to
Wait.
jail.
I think he was
See?
a bishop.
You think he was a bishop? He is the pastor of Elevated Life International Ministries. And so my question is, because we're talking about love, okay, this is Valentine's month, and do you two feel like that was appropriate? Because
Yes.
I know that women feel like, hey, I need my man to protect me. I need to know my man's going to protect me. I need him to come up in this McDonald's and put somebody's face in a deep fryer and then preach the gospel on Sunday.
What's
what you
love
say.
got to do? It's got to do with it.
Yeah.
Love ain't got. He was tripping. He going to jail, and he's silly.
Okay, thank you, Miss B. Now, so the D,
But I don't care.
Stacy D is
Protect
like-
me.
Stacy D's like, protect me by any
Protect
means
me.
necessary. If you got to fry a teenager's face, fry a
it up.
teenager's face.
Yeah.
Um,
But if I
If it was a
wife, I would've
teenager,
Yeah, was it a teenager?
well, I mean, it's fast food. It
So
I
most
don't
we-
mean nothing nowadays.
yeah, a lot of the older
Fast food.
people, they take the jobs and stuff now because
Okay.
it's 15, 20 bucks an hour, right?
Okay, I can understand. I have two problems with this. I can understand wanting to protect your wife. At the same time, I think that there's protecting your wife within reason. When
But
you
we don't
going
know
so
what
far,
happened
you
from
showing
when he
up at the fast
came
food restaurant.
into the deep
I
fryer.
agree.
See, he might have been
What
like, "Dude, what you
happened?
want to do?" Da, 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 da. He might do something at him or something. Test
What did
his
the wife
manhood.
say they did in the first place? Did they like touch her, assault her, or something? What happened?
Yeah.
No, it didn't give the details on that. It did not say that they were physically harassing her. It says that they were disrespecting her. And so
Disrespecting is so broad.
It
that's
is.
really broad.
He drove
But
a long
here's
way,
the thing.
maybe, to defend his wife on disrespecting her. I just said, baby,
Well-
just
No, he
Like,
could
take
have been
off.
calling her bees and stuff.
yeah, that's right. We don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened.
Here's my thing. Protect your wife from having to work at the fast food restaurant. How about that?
That's
And
I
he's a
agree.
pastor, so he must have a small
you wanna-
congregation.
He's a pastor and a truck driver. Check this out.
Oh, he
He driving
Yeah.
trucks and preaching the gospel at the same damn time. Here's my thought.
Did he just cuss by saying
You
preaching?
want to be a
You
man?
have to be
You
more
want to be a man? You want
careful.
to protect your wife? You want to protect your wife? Protect her from having to work.
If he's
in
a
fast
truck
food.
driver, mind you, I used to own a trucking company.
He's making pretty good
He's
money.
making decent money.
Why
your
is she
wife
working-
at
He
McDonald's?
makes good enough money.
Unless they living above their means.
Or
Well,
is,
I don't
is she
know.
the manager of it?
now,
Truck drivers are not broke. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter what he does. If you are not earning enough money to keep your wife out of the fast food restaurant, I believe it was, I don't know if it was McDonald's or whoever. If you are not earning enough to keep your wife up out of there, don't come up in there and assert your manhood by putting somebody's face in a deep fryer.
He's gonna
Because
go to jail.
the other people working at the fast food restaurant, they like, you this big and bad, why the hell up in here?
And that's what they
Get your
probably
money
said to him, and the reason why the face went to the deep fryer.
Oh, you don't fry faces for people keeping it real and telling the truth. You can't handle the truth? Your wife is up in here on fries with us. She
But
wouldn't
who
have to
knows? She
deal
might be the
with this
manager
Yeah, she
too.
could be the
They
manager.
might
No,
own
she
it.
was she was newly hired. She was a manager
Oh.
in training.
Newly hired manager in training. Okay. She could have
Okay,
been in there
the
flexing or
bottom
doing anything
line.
with you.
If you are that sensitive and you willing to go to that extreme, I'm saying protect your wife by not even having her in that position.
I agree, but McDonald's managers don't do too bad.
Sure
I'm just like, wait,
They make about what 70, 80.
yes, they really are. Because I'm like, yeah, they don't do
Plus
too
they
Okay.
get
bad.
bonuses and
Yes.
everything. You've been messing around. I had 6 figures working up at McDonald's.
Especially as a manager.
But when you factor in
We
the
have a
environment,
classmate that still work at McDonald's. He owned 2 McDonald's.
that's different. You ain't making 6 figures as no manager trainee at a damn McDonald's. You're not. And
They say 46.
46.
46.
But they get bonuses though too.
Okay. 46,000. I'm not gonna say anything about
So it's
$46,000.
48,000 in
Right.
Missouri. Sorry.
And so, but when it comes to career choice, you have to not only look at the income, you have to look at the environment. Just like
That's
there
right.
are plenty of spouses who are like, well, my wife is an educator and I'm not okay with her going to a school that doesn't have metal detectors.
I have heard
I'm
a
going-
lot of husbands say that about their wives. A lot.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Actually, I had a principal's fiance came up to the school and checked a couple of boys because they grabbed her butt.
That's what I'm saying. What did they do to the lady at McDonald's? I know they don't tell us, but it's something more.
I agree.
Well,
And I'm not saying he's right putting their face in the fire. I'm not saying that, but like what made him come up there? Something happened.
well,
that
there's
made him
probably
come
more
up
to it.
there. Right.
But you have to ask yourself, how much more would rationalize that particular behavior? And then you also have the aspect of he is a pastor. And
now,
so a
here's one of the things that I
pastor-
saw on this thing last year. I don't remember who it was, but somebody told some guy that he was a fake preacher. He said you're a gangster preacher on something on this little
Oh,
news
there's
thing.
plenty of gangster preachers.
And so here's
obviously
what-
we talk
they
about.
still mean.
And
They
that's
still
really
mean.
what they said. They said people need to remember
They're
most
still
of your
mean.
preachers were
In the
drug
streets.
dealers, pimps, blah blah blah, killers.
But it's
that
supposed to be
turned in-
past tense. It's supposed to be past tense.
I get
Stop
it.
standing up in the pulpit, leading congregations, and you steal from the damn streets.
But no, I
The
think
hypocrisy of that.
But
here's something,
God,
in our
see, we're gonna go
sometimes you
someplace.
can be like people push the wrong button. Any of us, and we try to do our best
I can go back
to
in
be on the right
2.2
road and. Depending
still
on
on
what
the
they,
assembly line.
I'm not now. Putting the boys' head in the fire. Something else has happened that we don't know about
Okay.
because I think it's a lot for him to come up to the job in the first place. I
Okay.
mean, there's something
Yes.
more.
I just can't imagine what would be severe enough to try to fry somebody's face.
With some
and
men,
another
it
thing
don't take
is
much for
when
them
it
to act
comes
pull
to
over their
What
wives.
city was it?
But your
What-
coping skills are supposed to be on a higher level because you're supposed to be a man of the cloth.
No.
Now, is it a man of the cloth that just became one because he wanted to
And
be, or is it
as
a man of the cloth because he went to
cloth,
seminary
Or was he called to
and
be
you know what I
one?
mean? So
He probably preaching in a church the size of this bedroom that I'm
Well,
sitting in.
okay. Let's get off of this subject and let's go to something else.
what
You
what
don't defend a
city?
damn preacher. Listen,
What city
I've
was-
seen so many
What
preachers
city
in
was
therapy.
he in?
My most difficult, not because this is speaking the
What
unspeakable.
city was he
Some
in?
of my most
Here we
difficult
go.
clients have been preachers, and I ain't
Yes.
talking about preachers in no little bitty churches the size of this bedroom that I'm in. I have had preachers in therapy of large churches in the city, doing way more than the rest of my clients.
Oh, I'm sure.
But black folks in the black community, black people always want to put a preacher on a pedestal.
No,
always
and we
want to
should.
No,
And we
I'm
should.
not doing that.
Always want to make an excuse for a preacher.
He
Oh,
just going on and
no,
on and on.
hell
No, I'm just saying. I'm gonna stick to what
They are
I'm
held
saying.
to a
Let's
higher
go to
standard
No,
by the
no,
Lord.
no
Because
pedestals.
If you are supposed to be
I don't
doing
do
the
that.
Lord's work and leading his flock,
Yes.
but you out deep frying people's faces, but then you go stand up in the pulpit to all of those impressionable young people in the church, they like, who also work at the fast food joint, they like, hey, I'm frying faces next week.
What city did this happen in?
This took place in
Sometimes you just gotta be quiet and just let him go.
South Carolina, North Carolina, High Point, North Carolina.
So they probably was harassing her. What was it's a black man, black preacher with a black wife, or black preacher with a white wife. And so
these
she
are-
was new. They was probably all up on her head.
Quite possibly.
And I'm not
My
justifying.
point
I'm
is-
really just trying to figure out what was
Quit
the
preaching.
background.
Quit preaching. If you still gonna be that street dude,
No,
stop
I
standing
have to-
up
I
in
have to
front
disagree
of
with you.
congregation.
We all are working for. No one's
leading
perfect. No
the
one's
Lord's
perfect,
flock.
Gerald.
Okay, but if you ain't ready, you ain't ready.
No,
D,
no, no,
if you need open heart surgery,
no,
are you
no.
gonna get it from a med student or from the actual open heart surgeon?
No,
If you ain't ready, you ain't ready.
no.
And a lot of these
I
pastors,
don't agree with you.
you
I'm
don't
not
have
gonna judge,
to.
'cause
You
I'm
don't
not
have
the
no.
one
Ain't
that can
nobody gotta
judge no
agree
one.
with me.
I
I'm
can't
saying
judge
I see
anyone.
preachers in therapy who clearly are not ready to be standing up in no pulpit.
God gives you your thing.
Leading
God gives it to you,
the flock.
and a God to give it to a homeless person. But
Yeah,
if
and you
God
know
gives
what?
it to you, then you roll with it.
How
you
much
may
do
not
people
be
say God
right.
gave them and God ain't gave them a damn thing?
We-
Everybody
You
always
is
want
he
to say
just keep
God
on
gave
saying
me this
God
and God
and
gave
be at
me
the
that.
same-
No.
Okay, can we change? We about
God
to
gave
get.
me this.
We
and
about
God-
to
no,
get
this is a
censored
problem,
and everything else.
especially-
I'm done with the
especially
conversation.
with black
We're
women.
gonna agree
I'm
to
gonna put this
disagree
out there.
again.
Uh-uh,
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna put this
agree
out
to
there.
disagree
We're gonna keep
again.
it all the way
We're
real.
going to agree to
There's a
disagree
negative
again.
stereotype in the black community that black people deify their pastors and put them on pedestals. And if we look deeper into the stereotype, that it is specifically African American women who do this. Stop doing that. Stop deifying a pastor. He is not the Lord. He is a pastor.
No,
we
but
we,
you're
no, we
saying
agree
he
with
is.
you on that.
We agree with you on this.
We're saying he's human, and we
He's
just
gonna make
we were just
mistakes.
trying to figure out what else
Talk
happened.
about deep
to
frying faces, y'all. Here's the thing. We talk about deep frying faces.
I know.
Okay?
So I have a question.
So
Oh, we
I
don't
just
get to
feel
the
like
question of the
there are
day. That's
some
my
limits.
question.
There are some limits. All of us who work with people. Stacy D is a school social worker, but she's still human. But there's a limit. Don't get to say, well, I'm human. They like, no, you still are held to a certain ethical standard. We are taking your license. You are being sued for malpractice. Okay.
Remember, I
So,
said the
and
man's
it's
gonna
like,
go to jail. I mean, I think we know he gonna go.
oh, the fool need to go to jail.
No, and we didn't say he did.
Deep
We
fried
was
face.
just trying to
We just
ask.
don't know what.
We don't know what
He's
happened.
on
That's
a-
all we
he's
was
on a-
asking.
He's on a tangent. Just let him go. Oh, we're gonna go to the question of the day.
We were just asking what else happened.
Everybody in the whole station is like,
They're like-
is he done? Can we go to the question of the day? JP
question of the
says
day.
the black
The
women put their black men on a pedestal.
No, he just meant
Black
the
women
preachers.
need
That's
to
all.
preach.
Good.
Okay. Let's get to
No,
the question
no,
of the
no, no. Professor, you cannot be trying to get to the question of the day. No. Turn your mic off. Go. Question
the
of the day.
professor.
No, he's not. He has
No,
nothing
if
to
the
say.
professor got
No,
something to say about
we're
love.
trying to get to the question today. This is the month of love. Can we just show
Okay.
some love?
Okay, so here's the question of the day. I do want to hear the professor's feedback because the professor is a single gentleman, and
He said
I'm
he's
curious
not
to
going to
hear
say
what the
anything. He's
professor's.
fine.
Okay, so the question of the day:
Oh, he
how
said no.
might
You
I
don't want to
take?
hear about it because he's gonna disagree with you. But we're not gonna
About
do
the
this.
other one, maybe not the
He doesn't
question.
even know what the question is. He
Right.
probably just got there. How he disagreeing with me?
Now
I
he's
haven't even
disagreeing
presented the
with you about
question.
the other situation. But
No,
we going.
we
Okay,
going
tell the
on from that.
professor.
Lord have
Tell the
mercy. I
professor.
can't deal with the ADHD that's going
We're
on right
going on.
Okay, right. I don't want to hear the professor's disagreement on what I said. Okay, I don't want to
Nadine,
hear it.
can you come and take the mic, please?
How might I take a whole new approach to finding relationship success? This is in alignment with Valentine's Day and the month of love. So, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, because the D wants us to focus on love, okay? In the spirit of Valentine's Day, I'm in the process of developing a simple 3-step approach that takes two things into account. One is internal aspects of your dating self. I really need y'all to have some pencil and paper out, okay? Because we're going to make some lists. Internal aspects of your dating self. And then 2 is external aspects of those whom you have dated and been in relationships with. 3 steps. Step 1, get out your pen and paper because it's time to take an inventory and identify your baseline. We always start with us. This is where we always need to start. We always start with us. What are we doing wrong? What is that we could be doing differently? Okay, this is the internal self inventory. And so, what I want you to do is, and this applies to married people too. So, married folks are not getting off the hook with this. I am going to do this myself with my wife. Okay, list your behavioral, psychological, and emotional functioning patterns. For example, think about how you have moved in relationships, psychologically, emotionally, and behaviorally, things that you have noticed is a bit of a pattern in how you move in relationships, and make a list of those things. This is not easy. This requires you to keep it totally real with yourself. This requires you to be able to put things on your list, like prioritizing your phone over quality time with those who have put forth the effort to be physically in your presence. Okay? But somebody who they not physically present, but they hijacking somebody else's time by
Number
calling
two,
the
number two, number two.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was
It's
just
him
making
and
sure
his
the list.
ADHD.
I'm just making sure good stuff get put on the list. Here's another example. Another example is exhibiting anger management problems and explosive outbursts, being a workaholic to the point that you are unavailable for dating, quality time, building a relationship. Okay. Identify what you've always done. Step 2, now take an external inventory. Identify the behavioral, psychological, and emotional patterns in those whom you dated and been in relationships with in the past. What traits do these people tend to share? Because a lot of times, and this comes up in therapy all the time, where in looking at a client's dating history, I'll point out to them, it appears as though you have dated the same man, just with a different name and a different face for the past 20 years. Let's take a look at that. Because a lot of times people are unaware of that. But as they're going through this relationship, that relationship, I was like, are we talking about the same food? We talking about the same food. No, this was da-da-da. No, it's the same food. Different name, different face, same food. All right. And so looking at, taking a look at that, here's something to think about. In looking at the traits that these people share, you are trying to identify patterns in your selection. This challenges you to take a look at what you are attracted to, what you are drawn to. Because a lot of times what we are drawn to is not actually what is best for us. It's not what is good for us. It's common knowledge. Let's get into step 3. It's common knowledge that if you all if you always put in what you've always put in, you're always going to get the same results. And that is the reason for taking this internal and external inventory, stopping and stepping back and saying, okay, when it comes to my dating life, when it comes to my relationships, am I kind of stuck in a rut? Am I in a cycle of putting the same things in internally, dating the same people externally, and I'm getting the same results, right? So here is the third step. Now it's time to identify the opposite of those traits and behaviors. What does the opposite look like? You've listed the emotional, psychological, and behavioral characteristics from your past and present dating and relationships that did not work out. So next to that list, because you have the list of you taking a look at yourself, you have the list of taking a look at your past partners. And then on the other side, next to that list, you want to write about, well, what would the opposite be? What would the opposite look like? For example, given if you have a history and a pattern of dating bad boys, well, the opposite would be dating good boys. Okay.
Boring.
If you have, you see the D is she's in a pattern. If you, this is something that's been coming up in therapy more lately, is there are people who have a pattern of dating married people and people who are in long-term committed relationships. And so challenging them, okay, you keep ending up with your heart broken because they keep telling you they're gonna leave their spouse. They're not
And they're
leaving their
not.
spouse. Stop being a fool. They're not. And so you've been dating these married people for years. For years. What would the opposite of that be? It's basic. It's common sense. Like, stop dating married people. Because sometimes we have to go to that extreme of, okay, I'm looking at this, I want the opposite. Because if you go to the opposite, hopefully, even if you land somewhere
Mm.
in
In the
between the
middle.
middle and the extreme opposite, you're going to end up in a healthier place. You're not going to end up in a healthy place continuing to date married people. That's basically the point. And so then what you do is you pick, once you have this list, you pick 3 to 5 things to start incorporating. To start incorporating the opposites of those things into your life internally and externally. Now, for those who are in long-term committed relationships and who are married, here is the approach that I'm suggesting if you want to improve those relationships, is that you do the same thing. You take a look at yourself internally and list who you are and be honest about the fact that this is who you've always been in relationships. And now you're not going to do the part with, because you already married. So there's no point in doing the external inventory because you're already in this committed relationship. In a marriage, in a committed relationship, everybody just needs to take ownership for themselves. And so what both spouses would do is take a look at, okay, who am I in this marriage? What's my list of things that I really need to work on? And what would the opposite of those things look like? And so that does get into taking a look at how you handle your anger, taking a look at how you handle finances, because a lot of couples, financial stress does more damage in a marriage than infidelity with a lot of couples will heal from infidelity. Financial stress, it makes you go crazy when you ain't got no money. And people implode, they turn on each other. And so what I see a lot of times with, and I'm seeing more of this lately for some reason, is a lot of people come into therapy because they have been financially reckless to the point that it is damaging their marriages. I've had clients who have gambled away like $200,000. And then they have to go to their wealthy parent to get bailed out before their spouse finds out. And so seeing these
So they're just gonna go get
couples,
addicted to something else. They have the very addictive personality.
right? And so when it comes to that financial recklessness, it takes a huge toll on marriages. You have spouses who are like, if you do this again, I'm done. Because you keep digging deeper and deeper holes for
Right.
us
Wow.
that we cannot get out of. And so, in taking a look at, okay, what am I doing that is damaging my marriage, damaging my relationship, and what would the opposite of that be? Getting to the opposite is going to require some work. It's much more easier said than done. Hence, I have clients who are coming into therapy and they're like, I have a gambling addiction, or I have a this addiction, or whatever the addiction is. And I need to get it under control because my spouse is going to leave. All right. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Well, no, I'm agreeing. What I was thinking is, as we do all of this, so for me,
It's not fun no more.
it's not fun no more. So I mean, I'm a workaholic, but I also am okay being single. Not that I would not like a relationship. It's kind of like,
See, we the wrong women to
I
deal
know,
with a man that
I
ain't
know.
ready. They just
So
be like,
I
oh,
mean,
well.
so I think I looked at the internals and even the externals, and I'm okay, okay, but it's not that I don't want a relationship. It's like,
Go get your boy toy.
This is for people who want a relationship.
I do.
If you are a workaholic and you feel like you are sacrificing being in a relationship because you're a workaholic, but you're okay with it. Some people are married to their work.
Yeah, that's probably
In
me.
fact, I used to be married to my work. That's the reason why I was in my 40s when I got married. Prior to that, I was married to my work. And for us, for a lot of people, it's like they're married to education, they're married to their work, and, it consumes them. It is not until you get to the point where you feel like, okay, I want more now. That's when you make those changes. And so for me, I didn't have a problem being a workaholic. I didn't have a problem being married to my work. I love my work. But when I stepped back, this is what happened. I stepped back and I looked around and I had bought this really large condo on the plaza. And I had this
We were
expensive
kicking it in
car.
there.
And yeah, like insane amount of money for this crib, right? Not even a good financial decision. But
But we was enjoying the fruits of our wealth.
we were. But I and Stacy, you already had kids. I didn't have any.
Well,
And
you could
so
have
for
came
me,
You could have came and rented some of them every now and again. You had a choice, a boy, a girl. I mean, an athlete, a scholar, whichever one you want. I could have came and rented them.
for me, once I realized that I was married to my work and that it was preventing me from experiencing family life that I wanted to experience as far as marriage and children and becoming a foster parent and having biological kids and having adopted kids, that's when I decided, okay, I need to make some changes. And I had to do so. And even with relationship partners, because a lot of this I've already done. Once I identified a pattern in my relationship partners and some, I don't want to say volatility, but some, I had a pattern going all the way back to high school of ending up in highly conflictual relationships. And I had to identify those traits that I was attracting or was attracted to, and I had to make some adjustments. You see, and so I'm basically saying,
Yes.
Ms. V,
Yeah.
if you are okay with being a workaholic, this doesn't apply to you. This applies to people who are like, okay, I've gone through school, I have my education, like I have money, I have a nice home, I have a nice car, and what's missing is like the committed relationship. Well, it's going to be time to step back and make some changes and take a look at, okay, so what would the opposite of this look like?
Yeah.
And moving in that direction. Now, what do y'all think?
Oh, I don't want to disagree with you, so okay.
No, and I agree, but I think about, so I love my work, I love doing all of that, but I would love to share it with someone, and so, but, yep, I think I need a therapist.
If you can't have, if
I
you
want it all.
can't
I'm gonna be
have,
greedy.
Right.
if you can't have workaholic and a relationship, what would you choose? That's what this is about, is looking at
I would
what
choose a
we-
relationship, but
You just gotta go find another workaholic. Gotta find you. That's all it is.
and I would prefer to be traveling and doing all this other stuff, and I've like dated, I just haven't met, so that's why I was looking at them externals and what they're like and stuff like that. I'm just meeting maybe the wrong people because I'm like, I got nothing else to do, might as well go to work, you know. So,
Well, if you
Work
can
keeps
find
me
a
out of
partner-
trouble.
If you can find a partner who you share these commonalities with, you a workaholic, they
He's
a workaholic, they like, I'm okay that we ain't never seeing each other.
Okay, time
it's
for us to get up out of here.
If it's a good fit for you, then okay. It's a problem if that is shrinking your dating pool because the people you're wanting to date or you're meeting, they're wanting someone who is not a workaholic. That's when you have to step back and say, okay, is my dating pool small because of the way that I live my life psychologically, emotionally, and behaviorally?
the answer
The
to is
behavior
yes.
of being a workaholic.
It is. It
Okay.
shrinks.
So that's our show for today. And we're only 1 minute. Well, okay, we're good. That's our show for today. Thank you all for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything. All the preachers out here in the land. Bye-bye now.
All the preachers, please start calling somebody else for your therapy. Stop calling me.
They need you,
All
so
right,
you gotta
thank
get paid.
No, I don't want it that bad.
You know
I
what?
don't want it that bad.
All money ain't good money.
All money is not good, but all right, thank you.
Thank you. Be careful.
God bless. Thank you.
Amen. Oh, that's fun. I do. It's so sad because I do want to be in a relationship. It's like, but I love my work. I love the